This is the Revolutionary News, produced on Friday, December 26, 1775, with reports from across the colonies. I'm Allison Ingersoll in the New York Bureau. This is day 251 since the first shots were fired at Lexington and Concord, Massachusetts. We start with a report on the long-standing regional differences in colonial observance of Christmas Day. In New England, the day passed with little notice. Puritan settlers have long despised Old English pagan revelry, such as excessive drinking, gambling, and enforced merriment. To them, true faith demands discipline, not prescribed holy days. Shops tend to stay open. The region prizes moral restraint and local control, so downplaying Christmas has become both a religious principle and a cultural habit, one that dovetails neatly with resistance to British tradition. In Virginia and the southern colonies, Christmas remains the most important day of the year. Shaped by Anglican practice and a more hierarchical social order, the South embraces the holiday as a time for church services, feasting, visiting, and hospitality. Plantation life encourages seasonal celebration, and Christmas offers a moment when social bonds between families, neighbors, and even, briefly, between enslavers and the enslaved, are publicly acknowledged. Even amid war, Southern colonists see no contradiction in rejecting Parliament while keeping the customs of the English calendar. For our second story, on December 21st, Parliament cast off the last pretense of reconciliation with the colonies by passing the Prohibitory Act, seeking to close ports, seize ships, and place commerce outside the protection of the Crown. In the winter camps of the Continental Army, soldiers who had taken up arms in the hope of redress now understand that they are no longer petitioners, but enemies. British cruisers are likely to choke the seaboard, making powder, shot, and clothing scarcer still. Yet the act cuts both ways. If Parliament named the colonies rebels, then the army that stands before Boston is no mere mob, but the defender of a people cast out. Officers are speaking more plainly of independence, and Congress answered the blockade by commissioning privateers to strike British trade in return. What Parliament meant as punishment is becoming a grim clarity of purpose. As we near the end of 1775, the Continental Army learned that the war was no longer about protest, but survival and possible victory. Finally, in what seemed like an imprudent demand, John Hancock, president of the Continental Congress, wrote to General Washington on December 22nd, asking him to attack British-controlled Boston. Washington, mindful of his troops' precarious position, demurred. We surmise that Hancock was motivated to urge action to impress foreign powers that might render assistance to the Patriot cause. Also, Hancock may have acted out of a personal, emotional attachment to the well-being of his hometown inhabitants. Nevertheless, the initiative highlights how the practical aspects of managing an army can become an abstraction to remote civilian control. So there you have it, the news of the week ended December 26, 1775. Subscribe for free to this YouTube channel and follow the revolution. See you next Friday.